Okay, so welcome everyone to the first eMite webinar that we are doing this year. We are planning to hold a series of webinars every 2 weeks, and they're going to be themed around different eMite parts. So this one is around life hacks. There's other webinars which we will hold, which will be focusing on data blocks, so on and so forth. So throughout the end of the year, we're going to have, I think, about 6 or 7 webinars before Christmas, and then we will continue this into the new year next year. My name is Stephen Ireki, so I head up operations here at Prophecy. Thank you, Ria. And your presenter today is going to be Ria De Jesus, who basically is our training specialist. And she will be taking you through today our first presentation, which is Wallboard tips and tricks. There will be a Q&A session at the end for any questions. While we do the webinar, if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them into the chat facility and I'll collate them and we can go through them at the end. Otherwise, Ria, I'll hand over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephen, for that introduction. Again, welcome to the very first run of eMite Life Hacks. And it's such a pleasure to have everybody in today's session. So I'm very excited to share with you different tips and tricks on wallboards. So in the next half hour, these are the things that we're going to cover. So we'll start off with the different out-of-the-box wallboards that we have. And later on, you will see them all in action. So please look forward to that, as well as knowing how to make your wallboards more visible by way of different aesthetic settings that eMite has. So how we can make your wallboards catchy, high visibility is something that we would definitely cover and make your wallboards impactful. Next, to make it more interesting, we can definitely animate your wallboard. So that's something that we would see and would know how to do later. And I'll also give you some tips on how you can maximize your wallboards by way of managing different pages. And that would lead me to covering sharing pages as well and how efficient sharing pages in eMite is. And we'll also cover some guidelines in terms of refreshing your data blocks and your wallboards. So it's going to be a very exciting 30 to 45 minutes that you will have with me. And like what Stephen said, feel free to just jot your questions down and put them on the chat box, and we'll have some time later for the Q&A. And to get things started, if you still don't have a Wallboard viewer account, please feel free to send an email to our support team. That's the email address, prophecysupport@prophecyinternational.com, so that our support team can set that up for you. All right. So I'll go ahead and just share my slides for now, and we'll get things started with how we can make your wallboards impactful and really visible across the contact center floor. So as you can see here, I have a strip of different data blocks, and we'll work on this later on and see how we can do some things and add different settings, make it more interesting. And I'll just go ahead and cover first the different out-of-the-box wallboards that we have for you. So we have 6 over here. So starting off with the command center. So as you can see, these wallboards or new wallboards, as a matter of fact, would be available to our new customers. And for existing customers, you will be advised as to when you will have these available in your eMite. And you would also notice that the design has been strategically thought of and thought through in terms of colors and text. So this is another representation of a wallboard that we have. So the grid wallboard, we have picked specific KPIs and measures that would provide you maximum visibility over your business and something that would definitely pop up in different TV sets around the contact center. Another thing that we have for wallboards would be queue status. So we have some 3D donut going on in here, and you would really notice that the design of the wallboards are meant for maximum visibility, as well as ensuring that it would stand out from across the room. And you would also notice, so there it just came up, so you would also get some real-time information over here at the bottom with details. Same thing for another wallboard that we have here for queue performance. This is now a different representation. Queue performance would zoom in into service level by the hour. As we all know, it's a very important indicator how our business is doing for the service level by the hour, so that you would see where it drops and you can go ahead and have your team huddle and see what you can do and make your service level throughout the day. I was about to say earlier that the colors are popping and you have a dark theme wallboard, so that, like I said, it can be seen from across the contact center floor. We also have agent status over here, and lastly would be agent performance. Great. So those are out-of-the-box wallboards ready to be used, but we're not just limiting our wallboard capability into these out-of-the-box ones. If you want to create your own, you can definitely do that, and that's the main intent of this webinar, for you to learn more tips and tricks on how you can customize and create your wallboards and make them interesting and very impactful. So like I said early on, we have this strip of different, or actually 4 status data blocks over here, and it's not quite interesting, and we can definitely do some things here. So starting off in making some background colors. So for the waiting calls data block that you see over here, we can definitely make that a solid yellow background. So just click on the header style, and then you can go to status style, and that's where you would see the background color over here. So we can just pick a yellow to match that header text as well. So if you notice, there's this start and stop color, right? So if you don't pick the same color, it won't be just one solid color. Instead, there would be a gradient of some sort. That's why you have the background direction here. By default, it says bottom, but you can change that to your liking for styling purposes. But I just want to have a solid yellow block. And hit on apply. And when I click on OK, voila, it's now a whole yellow status block, right? So that's by way of just adding that solid color in the background, but there's another way to do it. So same thing, if we hover onto the status data block and get into header style, you can also do it by way of thresholds, meaning setting some rules and some logic. If the measure changes, then it would change to a specific color, set that rules and to threshold. So you can do that definitely. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. So say from 0 to 20,000, that would be, say, a red, and then 21,000 to, say, 40 would be a yellow. And then lastly, 41,000 to, say, 100,000 would be a green. Then you can go ahead and click on OK. And you notice that it didn't apply. So just make sure that when you set thresholds, get back to header style and go back to status style and ensure that you click on status, right? So if you click on status, there you go. It would then change to the rule where you place your threshold on. But like I said, it has a gradient over here. You can still change that if you want to. Still the same thing. So it's just saying green in the start color. You can go ahead and copy that color code. Copy it. Oops, just making sure it did. Oops, let me do that again. There we go. Then it's just going to be one solid color. And if that's fine by you, that's something you want, then we'll proceed. So we're good with the first 3 status data blocks, and let's work on the grade of service data block over here. So we can definitely change the header text style as well. Everything, as far as aesthetic settings are concerned, you will just have to click on the header style icon. Then you can go ahead and change the text over here. You can also change the header color, and I want to match it with the other 3 data blocks, so make that black as well. And I can also add a description for this status data block, so I'll go ahead and put grade of service and make that a bit bigger, say around 40. And I want to change the text or the font as well and make that digital. I want to match that with the header font as well. There you go. Color, can definitely change that too over here. And click on OK and see if I'm pretty happy with that. All right, but still quite boring, right? So I can also add a background image. So it's not just limited to making it into different colors, but we can also embed some images in the background. Still under the header style, let's go back here, and you would see an option here to put an image. So I'll go to this background folder and say I want to use this, right? Click on OK. By default, it would say cover. So if you select cover, it would basically cover the entire data block. Percent would be meaning it would allow you to resize the image itself depending to your liking, and obviously contain, which is cover the text or the measure where it is. But I would want the entire data block to have the image. So let's click on OK. There you go. So I have my background image. I still need to work on the color of the measure and the text. So let's do that one more time. So I can go ahead and add threshold here, and this is fun. So since we're talking about grade of service, let's make this very interesting. So let's say from 0 to 89% is still a red flag. Then it starts to pick up. So 90 to 93 would be a yellow. Where's yellow? There you go. And then 94 to 100 would be your go green, right? But it doesn't stop there. So we can add GIFs, images, depending on the threshold rule that you've added. So let's just add a GIF to the first threshold I included. I want to have this circles GIF. Okay, and then since we didn't meet our grade of service, we can set an alarm as well to alert everybody on the floor. So I have some MP3s here. I'll use the slot machine alert tone. All right, are we good? Then let's click on OK. There you go. Oops. So that's how we can work on that, but I'm still not very happy with the background color. If we set a threshold, it would definitely supersede any other settings that we have set previously. So I just want to make this a solid black background. Can go ahead and do that. So we've done that earlier, we'll just do it again. So background color, you can set it over here, back, and then stop, making sure we have, so I forgot to hit on apply. So as a best practice, always click on apply. There you go. Just so it's more visible, though we can also change the font color of the description. We'll do that very quickly. Over here, I think to match the header. All right, cool. So if we're happy with this, can also make sure to resize our data blocks to make it bigger and more visible. So go ahead and maximize this. All right, oops, just move. There you go. Same thing for this, and then my last data block. All right, so if you're pretty happy with the settings you've done, what we can do is to also change the overall theme of the entire page, just to make it pop a little bit more, because it doesn't look on a solid white background, right? So under your user profile, you will have settings over here. So this is one of the ways where you can change the settings of your page for the theme. So just click on it, then you will have theme over here by default. Let's just change that into dark. Click on OK. Then there you go. Right? Now, what's interesting is to have this whole strip run into a marquee, right? So we can do that as well by grouping our data blocks together. So how do we do that? Under Edit page, you can just go ahead and click on Add Content. Just click on Add and just select Group Data Block and select all of the data blocks that you wish to group together, then hit on OK. Then there. Oops, sorry. Sorry for the alarm. We can go ahead and take that out very quickly if that's something. So by taking it out or free to delete it, you just have to clear the web address field and click on OK, then hit on OK again, then you won't have the alarm anymore. So let me fix this very quickly. I don't want to see this header. So once you group your data blocks together, you will have a separate header settings for that as you hover into the whole group. So just click on that. I want to make it a solid black as well and take out the header text to make it look cleaner. There you go. And if you hover onto the whole group, you will see an option that says change type. This is where you can animate your whole group by way of marquee or 3D carousel. So let's see how the marquee looks like first. So say 15 seconds, I want to have that running. Let's click on OK. Then there. So imagine that's flashing into the different TV sets across the contact center floor would be looking pretty neat. So another option that we have here, so just hover onto the change type icon again. you can have it as a 3D carousel, and this is how it would look like. Pretty neat, huh? All right. So I would then suggest, if you want to have both versions, you can copy or duplicate this page. So since we have this active page under edit page, can go ahead and hit on duplicate page and saving. By default, you have the same exact page over here. And to have a variety, we'll have the duplicated page in marquee right there. So don't forget to always save your page. And you can rename this. Say that's marquee. Oops. There you go. All right. So interestingly, we have done some different aesthetic settings. We also did your animation over here, as well as the 3D carousel. Next would be, just give me a quick sec. So before we get to the next set of settings, I just also want to highlight some advantages of grouping data blocks. So apart from the animation that you see here, it would also be easy for you to just visualize several data blocks in just one group. So that's one thing. Another would be to keep your data blocks together. And another advantage of grouping data blocks would be saving it as a template over here. So if you save it as a template, you can reuse the same settings and aesthetic configurations that you have for that group. So just keep those in mind. And always be sure to save your pages as a best practice. And even before you group your data blocks together, make sure that you're happy with the edits you've made so that you don't have to do it all over again. All right. So moving on to managing your different wallboard pages much more efficiently. So we've already seen how to duplicate the page. And you can also do some foldering. Having, say, you want to have a drop down similar to the out-of-the-box wallboards, that's definitely a possibility if you just go under Manage Page. So you can click on Page Group over here. Say you want to group the ones that you've created on your own and just have that in one drop down. Can definitely do that. So I'll just create my folder. So let me add that over here. So now that the RDJ folder has been added, all you have to do is to select the wallboards that you want to include into that folder and hit on that arrow sign, then hit on save. Then you would notice real time, all of those individual pages have been included in this drop down. All right. So another function of Manage Page over here would be to reorder your tabs. So that's something that you can do. So just make sure that you're over the actual text to pick it up and just drag and drop it. And always ensure to click on Reorder so that it would be saved. So just before I move on, another useful tab in the Manage Page section would be the Page Theme. So if you have different or many different wallboards, this is where you can configure the theme. If you don't want it all throughout dark, you want to have a specific wallboard to be a different theme, then you can go ahead and change it here. All right. So let's just click on Reorder. We're good to go. All right. So after managing pages, so you're done creating your wallboards. Another wallboard I created, by the way, over here would be the gauge wallboard. So let's go ahead and quickly fix this. So I want to have a bigger header text. So same thing. Let's just change that to a bigger font size. All right. Same thing for the other one. And if you want to make it clean looking and all in black strip, that's also where you can do it. All right, so we'll go ahead and share all of these wallboards since early on we have discussed that you would have to request for a wallboard viewer account. So if you already have a wallboard viewer account set up, let's go ahead and share it to that account. So still under manage, just click on share page. And you can go ahead and select the ones that you would want to share. You can share the entire folder if you want to, but I just want to share the 3D and the gauge wallboard. And then depending on the users you have in your organization, you just have to look for the wallboard viewer account. For this demo, I have the eMite wallboard set up. Then you would also see three options as far as share type is concerned. By default, it would be in read only, and that's a best practice. So you will just give them a copy and they won't be able to do anything in the wallboard that you would share because it's just in read only mode, right? Duplicate would be giving them a duplicate copy wherein they can edit the wallboard. But the thing is, for wallboard viewer accounts, it would just be a viewer account or viewer profile. So even if you share a duplicate, they won't be able to do anything in the wallboard that you would share. So it's as if it's read only. Now collaborate is just sharing and having the same wallboard as if you're working on just one file. You're collaborating with another person who has a dashboard creator account and you're just basically working on one single dashboard or wallboard. But like I said, as a best practice, let's share on read-only mode. So if we're happy with what to share, I've selected the account where I would share the wallboards to, then hit on share. You would get a quick notification, just click on OK. Then let me quickly go to that account. Here is my wallboard viewer account. As you can see, it's just a dashboard viewer. So it's asking me to quickly log back in, and I'll do that very quickly. So as soon as this loads the page, you would see the stuff that I've shared. So the gauge and the wallboard sample that I've created. All right. So one of the things that you can also do as far as sharing is concerned, as soon as you get it, this person won't be able to do anything on the wallboards you've shared because it's a viewer account. So please make sure as you share that the wallboards you have worked on are saved to carry the settings over. So let me go ahead and check on that real quick. So let's save that one more time just to be sure. Even, so let's share the marquee and save that again. All right, so let me do this one more time I'll go ahead and try to unshare the ones that I've shared early on. Oops, I think it was the gauge. So you have the capability to share it and share it anytime you wish as dashboard creators. So it's the eMite Wallboard, so just click on and share. And let's reload this. So it's gone, right? So now that we're sure that we have saved it, let's share that back one more time. Let me go ahead and take these out from the page group, which is something that you can do. So if you want, just select the folder that you have created. You can go ahead and take these out. You can delete the folder if you wish to. So let's save that. Right? Okay. Now let's share. I want to share the marquee and the gauge wallboards, which we have saved. And let's look for the account and share it one more time. And let's reload this. There you go. All right. So sharing and sharing is real time. And one more thing that I would want to share as a best practice would be refreshing your wallboard. So there are several ways to do it. So let's go ahead and do the first one. Under Manage, you will see an option here that says Show Page URL. So click on that and hit on Copy. Then you can launch another browser and just paste the URL, as you can see on my screen. And you would notice that the last part of the URL says refresh rate equals to. So this is where you can put the refresh rate in seconds. So say you want to refresh it every 30 seconds. So you can go ahead and add that. And there's one notable change that you would also see as I hit enter over here. So in this particular tab, and it's refreshing every 30 seconds, you would notice that the other tabs over here are now gone. So that's one function as well of the show page URL under Manage. Now, if you want to take this out as well, you may go ahead and do so by clicking on or opening another tab, pasting the same URL, and adding an ampersand has menu false. Hit enter. And you would notice it's now a full page. All right. So from just a regular shared page to the copied and pasted URL link to the has menu false type of page. All right. So another way of refreshing your page is by way of playing your different pages as if it's a slideshow. So that would be still under your user profile and under settings. And you would see a play tab over here. You can enable it. So play interval is every 30 seconds and click on OK. Every 30 seconds, it would then change to the pages you have available. And that's also very critical because you need to have at least one component, or if not a whole page refreshing in your Wallboard viewer account, just so it doesn't get kicked off. And rest assured that every time it reloads the page, it would be a fresh page. So you would be assured that the information see there, it just shifted to the other wallboard. So as it loads a fresh page with updated information. All right, so we've covered all of the tips and tricks we have laid out in our agenda for today. Let me go ahead and just quickly share my slides back, as I have a few more left for us. So I've pasted some very useful links in our chat box. Please go ahead and check that out. One of the links would be to our knowledge base, Confluent. So all of the things we have covered today would be in our Confluent site. The new out-of-the-box wallboards and dashboards will be there, as well as a second link would be to our user voice portal, wherein you can jump into different eMite forums. And this is where we get ideas on enhancement. So please feel free to share your wish list on what you want to see in eMite as far as enhancements and other features are concerned. And lastly, the third link that you would see in your chat box would be the link to our support portal. So if and when you would encounter some challenges or issue with eMite, we're here and we're ready to help. You can create your case from the support portal, and those are some of the numbers that you can add to your contact list if you need to get in touch with us. All right, so now is the time to check out if you guys have any questions, and Stephen and I would be here to answer some questions you might have.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ria. That was really insightful. I loved how you showed the journey of going from something which looked pretty bad to an amazing dashboard which had animations and everything else. So we have one question so far in the chat. So the question is, can we play only selected pages and not all available? So at the moment, I can answer this. The play feature is only for playing every single page in a particular account, which is why Ria showed you how you can set up a Wallboard account or request our support team to, and only share pages that you want to be displayed with that Wallboard account. But that is a good feature request. If you do feel like this is something that you would need, then obviously there's that user voice website, which Ria pointed out, and you can go and log your idea within user voice and get that fed into our development pipeline. And that's the only question so far. So I think that's, so any more questions? We'll give it another few seconds. If nothing comes in, we might end the webinar.
But we're really glad to have this webinar series kicked off for everybody, and just really goes to show how flexible and how customizable eMite is. We chose Wallboards as the first webinar topic, as it's very helpful in the contact center, having maximum visibility over your business and making sure that the visuals are very catchy, very interesting, and those are some settings and stuff that you can maximize in eMite.
Sounds good. There has been another comment in the chat. Rekha will reach out to you after this webinar and discuss the questions that you've raised. But yeah, I think we're done, Ria. So thank you very much. That was really good.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you in the next webinar. Please expect some announcements and invites. It would be pretty exciting. So for today, it was eMite Life Hacks. And as Stephen mentioned earlier, we'll have another theme for these webinar series. And then other theme is data blocks projects in focus. So that would be very, very exciting. So we look forward to having you there. Thank you so much for your time today, and enjoy the rest of the week.
Thanks all. Bye-bye.